Hello nerds and nerdettes, and welcome back to the channel where once again we have a new video for you guys. We are currently entering into the month of December 2023, which means in this video we will be going over my top 10 most anticipated releases for the month. It's always a monthly video that I love to film for you guys because not only does it keep me on the straight and narrow when it comes to my budgeting and collecting, but hopefully it does the same for you guys, and if not, maybe put some titles on your radar. But if you are planning on pre-ordering any of these books, use the channel sponsor organicpricebooks.com. You can use the discount code STAYNERDY for $2 off your order, or when ordering 4 or more books or pre-ordering 4 or more books, you can use the code STAYNERDY, ship it together for 5% off that order. It's a great way to save some money, but it is also a great way to help support the channel. So I am thankful for those of you that do decide to use that code. But without further ado, let's get into the list, starting with, of course, number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Big Game. This has a cover price of $17.99, a release date of December 19th, and a page count of 152 pages. What we're pretty much looking at here is a Millerverse crossover event book, essentially. This is going to be full of all of Mark Millar's original created characters and original created titles, such as Kick-Ass, Nemesis, Wanted, Superior, Ambassadors, just to name a few. So this is the culmination storyline that's going to involve all of those characters, which obviously is confirming that all of those characters do exist in the same world, which is pretty ambitious and pretty cool for Mark Millar to be doing. I know Mark Millar is pretty divisive among the community, some saying that he writes fan fiction or superhero fan fiction, but I've always really enjoyed his writing personally, and I think what he's doing, especially in the independent comic book world with this crossover event, with all these characters that he's had a hand in, all coming together into one big story, is super ambitious, super admirable, and I am very excited to collect this. There's a lot of mysterious and deceptive aspects to the story, which makes it that much better. This trade paperback does only collect issues 1 through 5, so you are going to be getting your standard trade paperback size when it comes to the trim and what's collected, but I definitely recommend this to Mark Millar fans, but really anybody. I know, like I said, he is divisive when it comes to his writing, but this is so cool and so ambitious, and I am extremely excited to see what he does next with his creator-owned world that he has now established and proven to all be one world. So that is number 10, so we can go ahead and jump into number 9. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Savage Dragon, The Ultimate Collection, Volume 2. Finally, this has a release date of December 26, a cover price of $39.99, and a page count of 400 pages. I did do a review on the first volume. I didn't necessarily love it. It felt very 90s. I do love the 90s typically, but I felt like it was lacking in some aspects when it came to its story. But in the same breath, it was very fast-paced and action-packed and entertaining. So I still somewhat enjoyed it. Like I said, didn't love it, but I liked it. This does collect Savage Dragon issues 9 through 21 and relevant portions of Wildcats number 14. And obviously, it says loads of extras. These Ultimate Collections do come with a decent amount of extras in the back. These are the exact type of hardcover volumes as the Invincible Ultimate Collections. So obviously if you have those, then you kind of know what you're looking at here. Or if you have the first volume, same proportions there as well. But I did feel like the first volume had a lot more extras than I was expecting when it compared to the amount of content, but it is what it is. But this is obviously written by Eric Larson, drawn by Eric Larson. This is a Eric Larson original character during the first creation of Image in the 90s. So definitely really good stuff, some historic stuff. If you loved old school original 90s comics or Image comics, then this is kind of a no-brainer to pick up. But I would not expect anything in depth, groundbreaking, or highbrow here. It is as 90s comics as it can possibly get, but it is very entertaining. I would compare it to a super action film that has no story and just fighting or blood and gore or whatever you would come to expect from a action film like Expendables or something like that. So still entertaining, worth the dive, especially if you like 90s comics. But that does wrap up number 9, so we can jump into number 8. Coming in at number 8 is SpiderMan by Chip Zdarsky Omnibus. This does have a release date of December 12th. It has a cover price of $125, which is that standard Marvel Omnibus price, and a page count of 936 pages. This is pretty much going to be anything Spider-Man oriented that Chip Zdarsky touched, but more important is that this does collect Spider-Man Life Story issues 1 through 6 and the annual. So that hard to find hardcover of Spider-Man Life Story that has been out of print and going for astronomical prices on the aftermarket, it's collected in this omnibus, and that's probably the main reason that most people want this, me included. It does also collect Spider-Man Spider Shadow, which is a dark what if style of story that involves Spider-Man. So it is pretty enjoyable. Chip Zdarsky's really good at those darker stories, and he tells one with Spider-Man. So it is still full of some decent content, but I think it's no secret that most people are excited for this omnibus because of Spider-Man Life Story. And like I said, I am included. One of the plus sides of this omnibus is all of the covers. I honestly think there is not a cover for this omnibus that is not a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, which makes me super excited to get this just to stare at it, which is probably what we do with most of our collection most of the time. But still, I wouldn't say I'm the most excited. I feel like I'm in the minority when it comes to excitement for this omnibus, but I do have some excitement there, especially because we finally get Life Story in an omnibus. But very excited. That does wrap up number 8, and we can go ahead and jump into number 7. So coming in at number 7 is Army of Darkness, the movie adaptation, 30th anniversary hardcover. That was a tongue twister. Took me a lot of takes there. We do have a release date of December 6th, a price tag of $30, and I don't know if the page count is correct, but I found a page count of 88 pages. Let me know down below if that is not correct or if you found a different page count. But the main reason this made it on the list is because it's no secret that I do enjoy zombies. So that does include Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. I have always been a fan of the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness movies or trilogy, which I think Army of Darkness is the third one, because you have Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. Not too sure. It's been a while, but this is written by Sam and Ivan Raimi, which is pretty cool because they are the creators of Evil Dead. More specifically, Sam Raimi. He is the director of the Evil Dead. He also recently directed Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness also, and obviously the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movies. So pretty big star power there, maybe more in the film world, but still to see him writing a comic book adaptation of one of his original created ideas and films is super awesome. The art looks incredible also. That's all done by John Bolton. Looks just like Bruce Campbell, so masterpiece right there. But very excited to get this into the library. Like I said, if it has zombies in it, I'm probably going to check it out. But I already know I like the Army of Darkness movie, so I have a good feeling I'm probably going to like its comic book or movie comic book adaptation. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but that does wrap up number 7, so we can jump into number 6. Coming in at number 6 is Dark Knights of Steel Volume 2, the hardcover. This does have a release date of December 12th, a price tag of $24.99, and a page count of 208 pages. Obviously, we know at this point that this is one of Tom Taylor's Elseworld stories, a DC meets Game of Thrones style of story where The DC heroes are in a more medieval-like setting, and it is pretty awesome. There's been a lot of twists and turns so far in the series. This obviously is volume 2, so this collects issues 7 through 12, and Dark Knights of Steel Tales from Three Kingdoms issue 1. So you are getting obviously a decent chunk of the series collected in these hardcovers once again, and I highly recommend it. It is so cool, such a interesting mixed bag of medieval and superheroes, superpowers, a lot of DC elements that we know and love, but also a lot that is different. I think Tom Taylor really excels when it comes to Elseworld stories specifically. And you get exactly that during this particular title. So highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. Volume 1 came out, I want to say, 3, 4, 5 months ago now. So check that out if you haven't, and pick up volume 2 because this is so much fun. It's a blast to read, and it's really nothing like anything that I've read before. So definitely check it out. But that does wrap up number 6. So we can go ahead to my top 5, starting with number 5. Coming up first in my top 5 at number 5 is going to be Fear Agent, the 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. Technically volume 1 and 2 because they're released on the same date of December 20th. They both have a cover price of $59.99, and volume 1 has a page count of 520 pages. And then as far as volume 2, we have a page count of 528 pages. So this, between the two volumes, this does collect all of Fear Agent from issues 1 to 32. This is a Rick Remender title, so it is going to be in those big, beautiful Rick Remender library editions that I have championed so many times on this channel. I have not read this, which makes me more excited, but I have just barely dipped my toes in the creator-owned Rick Remender books. I've done a lot of, I want to say like 3 reviews now at this point on some of his creator-owned books, but a lot of my Rick Remender experience is more in the Big 2 world, specifically Venom or X-Force, so I haven't really dabbled as much as I want to, and I eventually will in his creator-owned books. You do have art by Tony Moore, incredible artist. He did a lot of the early issues of The Walking Dead before there was a artist change, so if you want a taste of what his art is like, you can look at issues 1 through 6. Probably off there, let me know down below. But super pumped to check this out. Rick Remender books are pretty much going to make it into my top 5 every single time, just because of the bang for your buck that you get with these books, and the trim size, the treatment of them, how beautiful the covers are. And something special about these covers, I guess, for the 20th anniversary is not only do you get new covers from the original printing that took place at Dark Horse, but you also get 2 original covers to choose from. So that's a little bit of a interesting aspect to these books. I did order somewhat recently the Black Science 10th anniversary. I want to say 10th anniversary deluxe editions, which those had new covers as well. So maybe Rick Remender's making a pass through all of his older titles, giving them a revamped cover and printing. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and find out, but very excited to get this into the library and finally read it. But that does wrap up number 5, so we can go ahead and start up into number 4. Coming in at number 4, oddly enough, is Nightwing Volume 4, The Leap, the hardcover. This does have a cover price of $24.99, a release date of December 12th, and a page count of 192 pages. This is obviously the Tom Taylor run, volume 4 of that run, which is incredible. A lot of people's favorite Nightwing run and one of their favorite, most recent comic book runs that came out. That's mainly because of the artwork of Bruno Redondo, which is absolutely incredible as well. So if you really want to see some amazing covers and artwork, check out Nightwing. But still, Tom Taylor really injects a lot of life, love, and hope, most of all, in this character of Nightwing, who we've always kind of connected with hopefulness, but it's even more present during this run than any run before, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, Tom Taylor typically is better at Elseworld stories, which I kind of mentioned during the Dark Knights of Steel hardcover, but he kills it in this run, absolutely knocks it out of the park. It is a great run, a great title. It makes Dick Grayson, Nightwing, a household name, so definitely read it if you haven't already. Obviously, we're at volume 4 at this point, so if you haven't checked it out, you have a little bit of a backlog to do, because I think technically there's 5 volumes out if you're counting the Fear State volume. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I want to say there's technically 5 volumes out, so there's a decent chunk of reading if you haven't been keeping up with these releases, but highly recommend it. It is really, really good stuff. And this does collect Nightwing 98 through 100, as well as the 2022 annual. So you do have that milestone issue of issue 100 as well. So really good stuff. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. If you're not a fan of Tom Taylor, at least give this a try. If not for Tom Taylor, then at least for the art by Bruno Redondo. So do yourself a favor, check it out. Let me know your thoughts down below. But that does wrap up number 4. So we can go ahead into number 3, which will make up my top 3. Coming in at number 3, oddly enough, once again, is Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus number 3. This has a cover price of $125, a release date of December 5th, and a page count of 1,096 pages. Sorry, I lost my place here. Obviously, this is continuing Ultimate Spider-Man. This is probably going to make it into anyone's top 5 or top 3, 9 times out of 10. This is a lot of people's favorite run on Spider-Man. This is a impactful and important run in comic books in general, especially because of the team, record-breaking team of Mark Bagley and Brian Michael Bendis on this run. So very, very good stuff. Very important run. It obviously takes place in the Ultimate Universe, which is not the 616 universe. It's a little bit more of a grounded take on the Marvel Universe. So you do get a more grounded take on Spider-Man throughout this run. This is volume 3. I have volume 1 and 2 behind me, which you're probably not seeing because of the big comic book cover here. But my biggest gripe with this omnibus is I hate all 3 covers. I don't know which route I'm going to go. I don't think there's a good answer because they're all pretty bad. The Carnage one is probably my favorite, but I have the Carnage cover to volume 2. So I don't know which route I'm going to go. I guess you guys will find out once I pick this up because I have no clue. But that does wrap up number 3. It goes without introductions. Volume 3 of Ultimate Spider-Man is a must pick up, must read, and this does have the exit of the series artist of Mark Bagley, so you do have a little bit of a farewell on this particular omnibus as well. So that does wrap up number 3, so we can jump into number 2, which is not a volume 2. Coming in at number 2 is Spider-Man, the Ben Reilly omnibus. Maybe a hot take here. We do have a cover price of $150. It is a very big book, though. We have a release date of December 26th and a page count of 1,304 pages. So, decently sized book here. Somewhat of a warranted $150 price tag. I will not try to go over the contents of this omnibus because it is all over the place. But I've mentioned before that Miles Morales and Ben Reilly are my 2 favorite Spider-Mans. I've always known that Ben Reilly, just because of his involvement in the Clone Saga, is a little bit of a hot take, but this is the Spider-Man that I grew up with. This is the badass, edgier 90s Spider-Man that was Scarlet Spider before he was the sensational Spider-Man, and had the hoodie with the sleeves cut off and the big bulky web shooters. This is my Spider-Man. I've always loved Ben Reilly. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, I guess, but I am so pumped that we are getting reprints on the Clone Saga as well as Ben Reilly, because maybe I'm in the minority, but these stories are some of my favorites in the Spider-Man world, and that's mainly because of nostalgia. Sure, that's mainly because I really just enjoy the artwork and the design of the character and the action forward style of storytelling, but here we are. I love it. I can't help it, but really good stuff. If you want to find out how Ben Reilly came to be, how he picked up the mantle of Spider-Man, the origin of Scarlet Spider in that cool blue hoodie, the sensational Spider-Man and his costume, which is one of my favorite costumes in Spider-Man lore, then this is what you have to pick up. Well, technically you have to pick up the Clone Saga also. They're pretty much a 4-volume set, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Ben Reilly's cool. I like Ben Reilly. Hate me if you want, that's fine, but hey, I like him, and you don't have to pick up the omnibus, but I know I am. And I, of course, will review it for you guys, so maybe you won't have to read it. I can read it for you guys and let you know my thoughts, but that does wrap up number 2, so we can jump into my number 1 most anticipated release for the month of December. And coming in at number 1 is Young Justice Omnibus Volume 1. We have another 1 appearing at 1. This does have a cover price of $150, a release date of December 12th. That's going to be a busy day, December 12th there. And a page count of 1,272 pages. So again, a pretty big book here. I thought this was originally solicited for Young Justice by Peter David Volume 1, but I guess they got rid of the Peter David name and now it's just Young Justice, so fingers crossed on getting more volumes for this title. But this is where you're going to get the incredible incarnation or creation of the Young Justice team, which is not the Justice League, it's not the Teen Titans, but it's even below that. This is the team of Superboy, Tim Drake, or Connor Kent, Superboy, Tim Drake, Robin, Impulse, a lot of very pivotal characters that we end up knowing and loving into the early 2000s, where they become even more impactful of characters, especially when they eventually join the Teen Titans team, which if you want to follow these characters into when they become the Teen Titans, then you want to get that Teen Titans Jeff Johns omnibus, because that's pretty much this original team, but in Teen Titans format, or a lot of the original members of this team, but in Teen Titans, or grown up, older than what they are here at least. But this is such good stuff. This, again, is a book from my childhood. This is where I fell in love with the character of Superboy, and honestly have always liked him more than even the character of Superman, just because he was my age. He was cool. He had a leather jacket on. He was a little bit more edgier, had a smart mouth, and he is just such an incredible character. This is also where everyone fell in love with the character of Tim Drake as Robin, because you obviously have him in this book as well. And then you have, of course, Impulse, which you'll learn more about that character during the Mark Waid Flash run. So really, really good stuff, guys. I wouldn't say you're going to be getting anything highbrow here, but you are going to be getting some awesome comic book goodness, and it is very deserving of the number 1 spot on my list, at least. I hope to hear from some of you guys that check it out and read it and share your thoughts, because I would love to hear some of you guys that are reading this for the first time and your experience and what you guys thought of the title overall. But that does wrap up my list. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you guys. As always, I'm calling to you all to comment down below your top 5, your top 10, top 3 whatever top you'd like to share with me, please comment down below, because honestly, that sometimes gets books that I wasn't looking out for on my radar, the same way that maybe these videos do that for you all that are watching. So I truly appreciate you guys commenting down below and letting me know what exactly I am sleeping on during this particular month. But if you guys are not already a part of the Illuminati, hit that subscribe button to join the community. Also, if you could do me a favor and hit that thumbs up icon, it means a lot to us on the channel. And if you did enjoy today's video and you want to turn notifications on for when I post any other content, then hit that bell icon. That way those notifications are turned on. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video. And of course, stay nerdy.